What I enjoyed most about my PLO was working directly with young people aged 13 to their 18th birthday party. I got to take the young people out to fast food outlets and bowling and to the cinema. First of all, just to help build that relationship that was needed so I could do the work I wanted to do with them. I found it quite challenging at times because some of the young people didn't want to engage in going out to these places. So I found it was really important to speak to the social worker that had worked with the young person prior to my involvement. And if there hadn't been a social worker involved, it was really important to read their file, but most of all, listen to what they had to say, particularly on the first visit, as this was really important. I also did find this quite challenging because some young people did want to engage and some didn't. But this is something that happened throughout the PLO and something that I am sure that will happen whenever I become a qualified social worker. What I found most challenging about my PLO was ending my involvement with these young people. I had built a relationship up with them and they had with me, so as I found it difficult, they found it difficult as well. When working with the young people, I had said from the start what my role was and that I would be finishing my involvement with them in May. Suppose that was something that was important for me, but important for them. The challenge also was that the young people would have explained to me that they didn't like a change in social workers because they did find it difficult building relationships. So I felt it was important to engage with my manager and find a social worker that would have suited the young person and get them to meet the young person before my involvement ended. One piece of work that I found extremely interesting throughout my PLO was a piece of work with the young person, age 16, who was male. The work that I carried out with this young person entailed working within a risk assessment framework. So from the start of our relationship, we talked about all the risks he was taking. He was taking risks quite often. He was drinking alcohol, he was taking drugs, he was getting involved with criminals. So it was quite important that I didn't judge him for this. So whenever we did build a relationship with one another, we began looking at a risk assessment framework that was established for young people. So whenever we were going through this tool, other things in this young person's life actually had come up, and perhaps I wasn't prepared enough for it, but because it was a direct observation, I felt that I listened to him, I explored these feelings, and this was something that I hadn't expected, and it was something that I was quite privileged this young person felt that he could talk to me in this kind of way. One tip I would give to a student going on my PLO would be to speak to the young people in the area that you would be working with, to also talk to the social workers that you'd be dealing with and that actually work in that area. And it's also important to think about when you were a teenager and what you were doing at that age.